Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes. So for today's video, we are all fans of basketball, right? And we all have our favorite basketball teams, and each year the NBA draft comes along, and we always hope that the player that we pick becomes a great player for our NBA franchise. More times than not, it's really hard to be extremely successful in the NBA, so you often get NBA draft busts. Guys that just you think about and it just makes you freaking cringe. Like Darko Milicic and my Detroit Pistons. Freaking front and center in this video right here, it looks like. But we are going to put all that negativity aside for this video and focus on 10 NBA busts living successful post-basketball lives. So who knows, man, maybe Darko decided to be a really good like businessman, or maybe he's working at McDonald's and he's just so happy and passionate about the game of fast food as opposed to the game of basketball. Let me know in the comment section below if you recognize any of these other guys in this right here. We're going to go through this. So yeah, I know you guys like these podcasty type of videos. So if you guys want me to do more of these, be sure to drop a like on this video. This article is by clutchpoints.com, written by Nikki Goel or Joel or Nerlens Noel. I'm not really sure how to say the last name, but this is what the article is by. So here we go, guys. Probably a bit of like a little bit of reading here, but that's okay, right? Just because normally I don't like read it, I just kind of give my opinion, which ain't always a great idea. So first we have Luther Wright. Well, this is probably Luther wrong, man. The wrong choice, I should say. For the 1993 NBA draft, 18th overall pick by the Utah Jazz. So first and foremost, I'm going to say, like, when I think of like the 18th pick in the draft, I don't really think of that as like an NBA bust, just because like I don't really expect much from that draft position. If he was like a top 3 pick, yeah, but let's see the reasons here. Luther Wright is huge, standing 7'2". The Utah Jazz selected Wright as a possible impact player in the middle stages of the first round. Unfortunately, he only played 15 games for them, averaging a measly 1.3 points. Damn, that's 0.1 less than Skip Bayless. He was eventually diagnosed with bipolar disorder and was entered by the team into a mental. Oh wow, this just got kind of okay. Yo, a little heavy for the first one, Nikki Nerlens Noel. Let's move on here. But life gets better for Wright. After being released from Essex County Hospital Center, Wright was to be paid, god damn, $153,000 per year for 25 years under the terms of his contract with the Utah Jazz, practically setting him up for life. Yo, you don't want to talk about a bitch-ass contract? Try paying somebody $153,000 a year for 25 years. That's like winning the lottery. That is absolutely crazy. I obviously don't know who this guy is, but I do hope that, you know, we got his bipolar disorder under control and everything. And if not, I mean, he's still getting that $153,000 a year, so I'm sure he's living pretty large right now. Here we, oh, what's this? What's more, Wright found life after basketball as a DJ going by the name Wright at the Rock. He is also finally called the world's tallest DJ. You can imagine him playing at a club near you. That would actually be pretty cool to see. All right, next up, oh my god, do I gotta pronounce this name? Steve Stipanovich. I think I got that. Yo, second overall pick? How do I not know who this guy is? Probably because he was a bust by the Indiana Pacers in the 1983 NBA draft. Being a second overall pick in an NBA draft, one is expected to be a franchise player. Steve Stipanovich was anything but. Though he played well enough to warrant playing for an NBA franchise, he did nothing to justify his lofty status as a high draft pick. He averaged a respectable 13 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, and 403 games, but it is not in the NBA where he found the most success. This dude's name may have found gold in the NBA, but he found success as the owner and operator of a coal mine in St. Louis. Yeah, that would definitely do. I mean, especially like coal and all that stuff, too. Damn, you make some freaking bank doing that, man. It's like freaking Bitcoin up in here. I'm just saying. But yeah, good for him. I know, yeah, those numbers are not like great for a second pick overall, but sometimes I don't know, man. I think guys get too much pressure on them because if he was picked like, you know, mid to like late first round, and that's actually pretty decent numbers, I'd say, in 403 games. All right, next we have Jonathan Bender, 1999 NBA draft, 5th overall pick by the Toronto Raptors. This guy sounds familiar. Was he like a really tall shooting guard? Was he like 6'9"? I might be thinking of somebody totally different, but it says drafting preps to pro players became quite the fad in the late 1990s to the early 2000s. As a result, Jonathan Bender was picked much higher than he should have been. Though a serviceable player coming off the bench, his career was cut short by a number of knee injuries. Early this year, Bender launched a brand new professional basketball league called the National Solo Basketball Association. The format is patterned after the UFC model where players play one-on-one rather that's interesting, rather than 5-on-5. Okay, yo, that's actually pretty cool, man. Like, I would actually want to watch that. I mean, I'm sure it depends on who's playing in it. Like, man, they could get like some really big names doing that instead of doing that whole freaking Ice Cube Big 3 league or something. This actually sounds really cool to see some one-on-one out there. So that's really cool to see. All right. Next, we have Eric Montross, 1994 NBA draft, 9th overall pick by the Boston Celtics. Being 7 foot affords a player the benefit of the doubt when NBA teams select players in the draft. Such was the case for Eric Montross, who was a formidable player of the University of North Carolina Tar Heels during his college days, but the NBA was another matter as he only averaged 4.9 points, 4.6 rebounds, and 0.7 blocks per game during his stint in the league. Far from what you expect from the 9th pick. Montross didn't give up on his dream to work closely with the game that he loves. He is currently the color commentator for UNC, his alma mater, and he loves every minute of it. Yeah, that's fair enough, man. I know that's Jay Williams, right? Yeah, so he's up here, my bad. Yo, good for him, man. Like, that's great. I mean, some people, just because you're tall or whatever, does not mean you have to be passionate about basketball by playing it. Like, you can be a commentator. I mean, I'm short and I'm chubby and I love basketball. So here I am, man. I'm doing commentating on a YouTube channel. I respect that, Eric Montross. Good for you, man. And I'm sure you got a nice little rookie contract there, too, for being the 9th overall pick. That probably doesn't hurt. Okay, so Jay Williams. This is one of those players, man, that like I didn't know too much about. I made a video about him one time, and I was very arrogant in the I don't want to say arrogant. I was ignorant, unknowing, in the sense that I did not know what happened to this man. It turns out he got into a car or a motorcycle accident, and that's what cut his career short. So I can't say he's a bust due to that. Well, here we go. After Jordan retired, the Chicago Bulls have been looking for a new superstar to lead them to the promised land of NBA championship once more. Jay Williams was supposed to be that. 1 year later, Williams was fighting for his life in a career-ending motorcycle accident. Instead of hanging his head over the missed opportunity, he is now an ESPN college basketball analysis while also working as a motivational speaker. Yo, good for him, man. Like, yeah, I can't say he's a bust because he got into a motorcycle accident. That is just a unfortunate event that happened to him. Who knows? Like, I'm pretty sure he averaged like 20 points his first year in the NBA, so he could have been a really good point guard for the Chicago Bulls. Okay, now next we have Pervis. I like his name, Pervis. Interesting. Ellison, 1989 NBA draft. First overall pick? I've not heard of this dude. Goddamn, Kings. The Sacramento Kings needed a savior, and they thought they found one in Pervis Ellison. He looked that part in Louisville where he played college basketball, but the NBA was another matter. Though he played 11 seasons, Ellison only averaged 9.5 points and 6.7 rebounds per game. After learning much about the X's and O's during his time in the league, coaching became a passion for Ellison, who found new life after his retirement as a coach of the Life Center Academy in Burlington, New Jersey, giving back to the game in another area. So, okay, so he became a coach. Yeah, some of these guys, sometimes their like physical skill set does not translate onto the basketball court, but a lot of these guys just know the game inside and out because it was part of them their entire lives. So, I mean, you know, good for him for finding, at least using like his brain for like coaching and stuff. You know, it's like that's fine. All right, we got Bryant Reeves here, 1996 NBA draft, 6th overall pick by the Vancouver Grizzlies. Big Country invoked, Big Country, right? Yeah, invoked fear in the hearts of the other NCAA players as Bryant Reeves stood tall at 7 foot and weighing around 275 to 300 pounds. That's a big boy right there. He became the first ever pick by the expansion team Vancouver Grizzlies, averaging a respectable 12.5 points, 6.9 rebounds per game, and 0.6 blocks per game throughout his career. More was required from Reeves. Various injuries took its toll on Reeves as he was forced to retire after only 6 seasons in the NBA. Wow. Big Country found his second win as a farmer. He purchased 300-acre. Damn, dude. I mean, that's a big boy, man. Can you imagine him, like, that man gonna be lifting, you know, some farm equipment around. Like, yeah, he's gonna be beasting out there, man. Like, sometimes he'll be beasting on the basketball court. Sometimes he'll be beasting on the farm field. It's just, it is what it is. Like, I'm sure this dude freaking kills with that tractor out there. So good for him, man, for finding love in farming. Nothing wrong with that. All right, next we have, yeah. Sam Bowie, I know who this guy is, 1984 NBA draft, 2nd overall pick by the Portland Trail Blazers. 2 words describe the downward turn of Sam Bowie's NBA career. Michael Jordan. Bowie was the player selected ahead of arguably the greatest player of all time when skilled big men were considered potential franchise players. As skillful as he was, Bowie had a difficult time staying on the court as various foot injuries plagued him. Yeah, man, injuries, it's hard to call a player a bust strictly because of injuries. He retired with about 11 points per game, 7.5 rebounds per game, 1.8 blocks, and was never the cornerstone of a franchise. However, Bowie has found success training horses. Okay, yo, good for you, man. Good for you. You know, Michael became the GOAT. You became the horse trainer. So nothing wrong with that at all. After his NBA career, he may not be running with NBA centers up and down the court anymore, but Bowie has discovered a race that he can finally win. Good for you, man. Gotta go train them horses. Somebody has to. We have Danny Ferry, 1989 NBA draft, 2nd overall pick by the Los Angeles Clippers. Yeah, this must have been around that Clipper curse time. Oh, the Clipper curse has always been around. So we got the Los Angeles Clippers chose Danny Ferry in the 1989 NBA draft as he was shipped later to the Cleveland Cavaliers for fringe all Star shooting guard Ron Harper, along with 2 first-round draft picks and a second-round pick. What the Cavs didn't realize was that Ferry's multi-award college basketball career was his peak best as he struggled to make a name for himself in the NBA. Ferry, though... I see this, man. I see you lurking down there in Darko. I see you. I see you next. Although he has carved a successful NBA career as an NBA executive, he first worked for the Spurs front office and was hired by the Cavaliers as a general manager. He went back to the Spurs years later and became the president of basketball operations and general manager for the Atlanta Hawks in 2012. Which was, I believe, because it was like 2013 where the Hawks were like really good. So it seems like he did a pretty good job there. After a buyout from the Hawks, Ferry is currently the New Orleans Pelicans special advisor to general manager Dell Demps. And now here he is, man. Number 10, Darko Milicic. 2003 NBA draft, 2nd overall pick by the Detroit Pistons. I know about this guy's history. The 2003 NBA draft is considered one of the best drafts ever in the game's history, with LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, Dwayne Wade, and Chris... Don't remind me of those names, man! Among the many luminaries... That sounds like a Harry Potter spell. In the star-studded draft. Darko was expected to be one of them, except the Serbian. Damn, dude, my freaking throat's dying over here. I haven't read a freaking word in a minute, man. Like, I watch Netflix. I don't read no books no more. He wasn't made for the pro game, as he ended his 10-year NBA career with passable averages of 6 points and 4.2 rebounds per game, along with 1.3 blocks per game. Milicic tried his hand at kickboxing career instead. A far cry from his first career choice, much like his NBA career, the big man didn't exactly become a household name in that sport either. He eventually found his true passion in agriculture as he now owns a 125-acre apple farm. Milicic ultimately wants to farm cherries now that he has found his place in the world as a 7-foot farmer. Just like most of us, many NBA players didn't find their callings in their first career. Successful could not be found by bouncing a familiar orange ball on the hardwood and shooting it into a hoop. They had to take a look at their current situation and decide to make the best out of what they had. The end of their NBA careers wasn't necessarily the end for them, as they soon found out winning could be found on very things that they are passionate about. You know what, man? I do agree with them, man. There's actually a good message to be taken from the story right here, from this article, I should say. You gotta think about it like this, guys. A lot of these players are super tall, man. Like, they were probably freaking, like, towering over everybody when they were, like, in kindergarten and middle school and high school, and people were like, all right, you must play basketball. Just because you are really tall does not mean you find passion in the game of basketball. You might enjoy it, but that doesn't mean you want it to be your life. So I'm actually happy these guys kind of found like a calling elsewhere. Maybe it wasn't playing the game of basketball. Maybe it was coaching a team. Maybe it was being a farmer or something like that. You know, good for them, because I know my first few jobs in my life, it wasn't really my calling. It's just something I thought I had to do. But now I'm doing what I love to do. I'm doing YouTube, so I'm definitely happy about that. I have an uncle out there who is like, he's freaking like 6'9". And once upon a time, when he was in high school, he played basketball. He was horrible. He just wasn't good, was not passionate in it. Turns out he got his PhD in chemistry, so he just had passion elsewhere. So yeah, man, so I know I roast Darko a lot, but I'm happy the man found happiness because, you know, at the end of the day, they're all just people anyway. So let me know in the comment section below, guys. Has there been a time in your life where you tried something that you felt like you should have done, but it just turned out it wasn't for you? Maybe you found passion in something else, or maybe you're still working on that right now in your everyday life. I do hope you find it. You will. Just keep on grinding, man. As Joel Embiid would say, trust the process.